Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Problem with Authority podcast. My name is Kiersten Kelley, and before we jump into today's episode, I want to give a trigger warning that this episode will discuss topics of suicide and sexual assault. Now stay tuned for the episode to start. Hey everyone, and welcome to the Problem with Authority podcast. I have a special guest with me today, Miss Michelle Santos, and
Hey.
and she will be talking with us all about the problems within the Catholic Church. So this will be kind of a part 2 to the episode that I released previously called Problems with the Church, but that was more about Baptist church and Christian base. So Michelle reached out and was like, I would love to explore the problems within the Catholic Church and share her personal experiences. So we are so happy to have you here, Michelle.
I'm so glad to be here.
Do you want to tell everybody a little bit about yourself before we jump in?
Well, my name is Michelle. I am a BSW. I go to UCF, and I was born in Brooklyn. I'm Dominican, and I was raised as my parents are huge Catholics, so I was like forced into being Catholic, if you could say that. And yeah, also I'm single, so if anybody out there wanna holler at me, Harry Styles, if you out there, Harry Styles, I'm chilling, I'm single.
I love that. I wish Harry Styles listened to this podcast.
Oh my God, Harry Styles or like Shawn Mendes, because he's really into podcasts now. So, but he's taken by Camila, so we can't do that.
Right. Hopefully it'll blow up one day, and then he'll hear it. He'll read this.
Yeah, he'll be like, "Wow, Michelle and Homegirl are really good." And I'll be like, "You know what? I've been telling you that. You don't answer my DMs, so."
Right. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So first, I want to touch on what are the differences between Catholic and Christians. Could you give me your perspective, Michelle?
Well, for me, growing up as Catholics, I really didn't know too many things about Catholics. I just learned it now doing the research for this, and I really thought that there was only Christians and Catholics in this world and the stuff.
Wow.
And I didn't, and it's not. There's like actually Catholics, there's Christians, there's another one starts with a P.
Protestant?
Yeah, no. They're not really into Catholics and Christians. They're not really for them. So the Roman Catholics, we don't call ourselves Catholics. We just we're called the Roman Catholics. And we believe, well, not me, because, they believe that they are the only people that know the truth about the church.
Right.
So they only pray to the Christ and the saints.
Mary is much more of a prominent figure in the Catholic Church than it is the Christian Church.
Right.
And I've always thought that was so interesting.
The thing that really opened my eyes was that the Catholic Church made up purgatory. That's not in the Bible.
What?
Yeah, girl. It's not in the Bible. They made that up. And they also made that, when you're confessing your sins to the priest, that the priest has to forgive you, but that's not in the Bible.
Yeah, I thought that one wasn't in the Bible, because I know, because we read the same. Do we read this? Isn't it the same Bible that we read?
I think so.
Right? I don't think it's different, because that wasn't in the Bible for us. Like, Christians just, pray to God. Like, they don't have to go through somebody. But that's so interesting just to say it like that. Like, they made it up.
Yeah, they made it up. I've learned a lot while doing this that Catholics make up a lot of things that are not in the Bible. And I just learned that. And I was like, huh?
That's crazy.
Yeah, girl. And also that the blood, the bread, and the wine is actually the body and Christ the body and blood of Jesus.
Yes, that's how it is for the Christian faith too. But I know that with Catholics, don't you guys do communion every time you go to church, right?
Communion?
Or I don't know if it's called the same thing, but you dip the blood or you dip the
bread.
Oh
yeah. No, we don't dip. We take the body and then we drink the blood.
You drink it, right? Yeah, okay, yeah. We don't do that. We'll either dip it or we'll drink from a little plastic. It's really not a cute ceremony, but I've done communion in a Catholic church and it was very fancy. There was one goblet thing that everybody drank out of, which I thought was kind of interesting. And with COVID, I don't think they could do that anymore.
No, they stopped doing that because of COVID. But I didn't know that you guys dipped it in.
Yeah, so I've been like in a few Baptist churches, and some they will dip it. They'll be like, and now dip the body of Christ into the blood, and then others they'll be like, now take it. So then you eat it and then you drink the wine. I don't know why some people do it differently, but yeah, that is cool to know.
Oh, wow.
You said you grew up in the Catholic Church, right? So when you were doing this research, why do you think that these were things that you didn't really know growing up?
Because they weren't really taught to me. I was just like head on into it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. You were just like, this is what it is, the end. Like, didn't even question.
Yeah. Because my mom and dad are Catholics, born and raised Catholics. And then they had us, and they just, when we're Catholics because they're Catholics. But I think the more we grow up, the more we see the truth about Catholics, and we're opening our eyes and stuff. But yeah.
Wow. Did you have a conversation with your parents about this stuff?
No, they're really strict. Like,
yeah.
So if I say something wrong, they'll be like, no, this is this and this and this. And I'm like, okay.
Right? It's so hard to change people's perspective.
Exactly.
Like even though we, you could still believe in God or like be spiritual, but it's like, hey, like the church, it's like the institution we're talking about might have some problems with what they're doing.
Exactly. And my parents are hard-headed. So if they believe in something, they believe it, and that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how it is sometimes. My parents were like that for a while, but me and Caitlin, kind of my sister, every day would like, slip little things in there. And then eventually we like got to the conversation of like, hey, this stuff isn't okay.
I wish. But my parents are like old school Dominicans, so.
True. Are you going to show them the podcast? Are you going to have them listen or no?
No, that's the one thing I'm so scared because you posted it on your thing and I just reposted it, but then I'm like, what if my mom sees it and she like grounds me or something?
Oh my God, I would feel so bad. All right, so anybody who knows Michelle who's listening, leave her alone. Do not get her in trouble.
I even follow my aunts and cousins, and they're real.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they're real into it. And I follow my brother and all that.
Damn, so you're really sacrificing for us here.
I am, but you know what? It's okay because I'm learning.
Right. All right, so what's the next thing you wanted to cover?
Do you guys have retreats?
No, no, they would do like mission trips, which I think is a little different. And they would have like within the church, there would be different like organizations, and some would be like specifically for women or the men. And then within those small little sectors of the church, they would go on like women's retreats, or like the kids would go to youth camp, but it's not called like, oh, hey, like the retreat's coming up, like everybody's going, if that makes sense. It's like kind of on the side or like the down low.
Oh, no, the Catholics are real. Well, from what I've learned, they're real hard on retreats. Like they have women retreats, men retreats, they have teenagers retreats, and they just talk about Jesus and God and the Bible. But I've never been to one. My mom and dad been to one.
Okay, so what happens? Like, is there a certain amount of time you have to be there?
I think because you stay there for a period of time. Okay. Like, it's like a sleepover.
Okay.
And it's in the church, and then I don't really know what goes on into the church, but I know they talk about the Bible, and they have dinner, and they have like they have like a group discussion about the Bible and stuff, but that's what I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right, that's cool. Is there any like rituals involved in the retreat besides
I don't
like just learning more about Jesus?
I think that's just it.
That's just it? Okay.
Yeah. And then praying the Rosary. And that's it.
And what do you know about the Rosary? Like, I've always been so interested in that because we don't have anything, like we have the cross, but and you can like wear it around your neck, but it's not as important to us, I think, as rosaries are to Catholics?
Because I think for you guys don't actually pray with the rosary.
No, we don't.
Yeah, so we pray with the rosary. So we like say the I only can say it in Spanish, but we say the Santa Maria and all that with the rosary.
Oh, okay.
So the little beads around the necklace are the counts of how many Hail Marys you say.
Oh, wow. And how many are there?
Girl, endless. Because my mom does I think they're called cenáculos. In Spanish they're called cenáculos. And they do that. They just do like a group and they just pray the rosary and then say a verse in the Bible. And then that's it.
But so you could be like on your knees praying for days?
Oh yeah. Until you're done with the rosary. Until like you're all over the circle of the rosary. That's it. Jeez. Girl, I'm telling you.
Tim, no. The Christian church is not like that. And that's another thing, like I feel like the Catholic Church too is a lot more serious. Like we talked about how they made up you having to say your sins and do confessing through a priest and then like praying like that with a rosary. Like it's Christians are very like flexible, I think, and more loose in the tradition of it all, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so crazy. This is cool though. Like we're talking about the problems and like we're learning.
I know.
Two different sectors of religion. That's pretty cool.
This is really cool. I'm so glad I'm on this.
We are happy to have you. So next, I want to know more about Ash Wednesday. So growing up, I went to Methodist private school. So those are other similar type religions. I feel like there's Methodist, Lutheran, Protestant, Catholic, and Christian. So in the Methodist church, they did do Ash Wednesday as well. But me going to a Christian church, we didn't do that. We also didn't do like the giving up something for like Ash Wednesday. So that was really confusing to me because I was getting like two religions at once and they both said different things. So how was Ash Wednesday for you growing up?
So Ash Wednesday starts on February 17th and it ends on Easter Day. Okay. Because it's like because it's Jesus was how you say it, the Ash Wednesday represents Jesus was tempted in the wilderness and then he fasted where Satan tempted him.
Okay, yes. I've heard that story.
Yeah. So it starts on the 17th, ends on Easter, and then on Easter Day, he rises above. He like, yeah. You know what I mean? That's what he does. And then you have to give up something because he gave up something.
Oh, okay. All right, that makes sense.
Yeah. So
that makes sense.
So the way we give up, you have to give it up, and then you can give up meat, drinking, smoking. My family does meat only.
Meat only?
Yeah.
Okay, so you all have to give up the same thing?
We used to do the whole 40 days. We used to give up meat, but now they're like more relaxed with us, so we only do like 2 days of the week.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But they do the whole 40 days.
Oh, wow. Isn't it crazy how when you get older, like the more lenient they kind of become with these things?
But like nothing with little things. But for church, we have to go to church every Sunday in my family.
Wow. How is that for you?
I used to go to church every Sunday and it was fun because we saw our friends and then we can like hang out at the church. But now I'm not really into going to church every Sunday, to be honest, because I don't like the priest in our church.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that does affect the church overall.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, same in the Christian church. I didn't like our pastor either at all.
It affects a lot.
All right, so let's talk about the anxiety and the guilt, because I know it's in the Christian church.
Oh,
so
girl, 100%.
I bet it's in the Catholic church. So let's talk about that. So what are the things that they would tell you growing up and it would completely mess with your brain and your anxiety and guilt?
Well, if my mom is hearing this, please exit out of the podcast, please and thank you. But in church, I really didn't pay attention. I just I just zoned out. Literally, I just zoned out.
Right, because you would go to school Monday through Friday.
Yes.
And then you'd have to go to church on Sunday.
Yes.
And it's like, how much learning do I need to be
Yes.
doing?
Honestly, we used to go, and then the only thing I'm looking forward to, because we used to go to church, and then we used to eat and go to the movies. So that's the only thing I was looking forward to, was eating, going to the movies.
I feel that. But it was like we only had a 1-day weekend.
Yeah.
And that sucks. Oh my goodness, that's so funny.
So, I mean, so I've learned little by little the little things that the church does to guilt you. Mm-hmm. Like, I have a neighbor, and she is in a relationship, mm-hmm. and her parents are just like my parents. Real hard-on Catholics. And she didn't tell her mom that she lost her virginity.
Oh, man,
because she felt like her mom will disown her, mm-hmm. in a way, because she was Catholic, and it like guilt her into a lot of things. Because when she was in a relationship, and then she was with her mans, they were doing the business. Mm-hmm. She felt afterwards. She felt so guilty about it, because she could hear her mom say something in the back of her head. You know?
Yep.
So
she is not the only one.
So she kind of lost faith in that period of time, but now she's like, mm-hmm. learning, and now she's like into God and all that.
Yeah. Does she feel better? Because I know like getting rid of that guilt is hard.
Yeah, she feels a lot better.
Good. Did she like try and get married or anything because of it? Because I know that can be common sometimes too.
Not that I know of.
Okay.
Not that I know of.
Because in like the Christian church, it's couples are getting married so young.
Oh yeah.
Like so young.
Mm-hmm.
Because they really just want to have sex and like not feel guilty.
I just feel like if you're gonna have sex, do it with the right person.
Right?
Not because of your religion.
With. Exactly. Yeah, because then you're going into a marriage that like you don't even know if you really want to be married.
It's like forcing it.
Yeah, exactly. And then I've seen in the Catholic Church, divorce is a sin, right?
100%, yeah.
Yeah. So how do people deal with that? Like the people around you, how does that go down?
About divorce?
Yeah. Like, are there some people that you've known that even though, they say it is a sin, like they still do it, and then are they like shunned?
I haven't really gone deep into that, but mm-hmm. I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Wow.
Yeah, divorce is hard.
Yeah. Especially when they're telling you it's like you're gonna go to hell for
it. Oh
it.
yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah. Even it's like suicide.
Yep. I know. Tell me more about that, because that message that suicide was a sin wasn't preached as much to us. Like that wasn't too big a part of the religion, but here you're saying that it was for you.
Well, I didn't know that. I knew suicide was like a hurtful thing to mm-hmm. families and the family members, but I didn't know that in the Catholic Church, it's one of the biggest sin a person can commit. Wow. I didn't know that, because once you commit suicide, you can't be buried with your family in the Catholic Church cemetery.
They won't?
No, you can't be buried with them.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because it says that suicide is a moral sin because it's an act against the will of God.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I see here you also said bound to spend eternity in hell.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus.
They really go in.
They really do. And that's so hard, because suicide, like, because you're in social work and so am I. So that's such a big topic, I think, for us. And a lot of what we do, like, especially with therapy and things, is just trying to make sure that if somebody is depressed, that, they know that they're loved, and that they don't have to do that to get out. Right. But the more that I dive into, you know, suicide and people making that decision, like there's some people that believe that like if that's the decision that the person wanted to make, then, you know, that's what it is, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I struggled with that because I was like, growing up, everybody's trying to prevent everybody from committing suicide. And then here you have the Catholic Church saying that if you do, you are literally damned to hell
Mm-hmm.
forever,
Mm-hmm.
which is such an interesting perspective on it. Should have made a trigger warning about suicide.
Oh yeah,
but
100%. They should just put that in their list of what they're gonna say at church.
Yeah, right, true, and on this podcast,
yeah,
too. But yeah, that is true. Yeah, and especially like that, I feel like that's what the church believes a lot of the time is like if we tell you that something is a sin and you're gonna go to hell forever, then you just won't do it, which is not true. Like that is the complete opposite way to get somebody not to do something, right?
Yeah.
Like I've never understood that tactic.
I think it's because the church makes you think that you have to get married and then you die at an old age. That's the only way you can go into heaven. That you die at an old age. You can't do like murder, suicide, all that.
Do they believe that unmarried people go to heaven?
That I haven't looked into.
Okay, I maybe wouldn't even look into that. I would hope.
Well, the rate that I'm going in, I think I'm never gonna be married because I've been single since the womb. So,
oh man, oh my goodness, no, I would hope not that single people could go to heaven. Like goodness. It's and then you just wonder like who the heck is in heaven in the Catholic Church?
Yes.
Like who is up there? Because we're all sinning.
Because in the Bible
here.
it says that once you die, you meet God, and then He or someone, and you do Judgment Day.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know who's gonna be there on my Judgment Day.
Me and my sister were talking about that. We said that it would be nice if I had like on Judgment Day, like I had a lawyer to like argue my case for why I did certain things. Because things aren't simple. Like some situations are really complex, you know? And I feel like I need somebody there advocating for me, like a lawyer angel or something.
I like it in your last podcast with your sister. I like how you guys talked about The Good Place, the show.
Yes,
like, yes, that's a good show.
It is. And like it blew my mind when they were actually in the bad place. And then people are like, what if this is the bad place? And I'm like, stop. I can't be thinking like that. That's gonna freak me
Every
out.
show has different ways of saying how the hell is.
Yeah, right? Mm-hmm. That's so cool. This next thing I really want to talk about, you're talking about guilt with money.
Girl.
And when I saw this, I was like, let's talk about it. Because I didn't touch on that in the last episode. So tell me about that. In the Catholic Church.
You guys, while you guys are doing Mass, do you guys have like a, it's like right before you do the body and blood, do you have like a, like a plate or like a bowl where you put money in?
Yes, so we do the offerings, and it happens every week. And after the blood in the body of Christ doesn't happen every week in my old church anyway, but the offerings do. And our church was so adamant on people giving money. Like it was crazy. I was like, geez. But then they like sugarcoat it with, you know, this is what God, like, do you have tithing?
No.
Do you know what that is? So basically, like, this is pretty insane. Basically, I don't know if this is in the Bible. It could be, because, you know, people lie to me a lot of the time when it comes to church. But what they said is that you're supposed to give 10% of all the money you make to God. And that is, since God's not on the planet, we can't just hand him our money. That means the church, right? And I hated that, because my mom would make me do it as a kid when I would get, like, Christmas money. And I was like, what the heck? Yes, I hated it. And then when I got older, I was like, oh, this might have some sense to it. So I like did it a little bit, like when I like had like my first job and stuff, but I stopped because I don't understand. I think it's just like what you're saying. It's a way to guilt trip
Yeah.
people into
Yeah,
funding the
100%. This,
church.
like, the new priest that I was telling you about, how I didn't like him. I think it was like last week or last month. He is like raising money for the church, and at the end of the mass, he would bring up, he'd be like, "Okay, guys, this is how much money we have, but I need this much at the end of this month." And then one time he brought up someone, and the guy was talking about how church saved his life, and then how his son or daughter or something happened to them, and the church gave him money. So the guy was talking about how the church needed their money for other people who don't have money. And I was like, sir, huh?
Right? And it's like, number one, like, churches use that money not just for other people in the community.
Oh,
Like, let's
yeah.
get that straight. They use it to
The
fund their
lights.
buildings. And, like, Catholic churches are
Oh,
elaborate.
girl.
Like, they're like
Yes.
castles.
Yeah. Have you seen the one in
Like,
Pleasant
I
Hill,
can't imagine
the St. Rose?
No, I probably have. I know I'm from Kissimmee, but like
It's
directions
like
down
on your
there,
way
I have no idea.
where you're about to enter Poinciana, and there's a church right in front of the cemetery, and then Bealago,
I
and
think
then
so.
the community with like Publix and stuff in it.
Yeah,
that church was expensive, honey. They built that in like a month or two, and it was expensive. And then once you get in, there's like the regular seating, and then the place where the priest is. But then on the top, there's a balcony.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's insane. It's crazy. And you're so right about like churches funding people's lives. Like there were times like that in our church as well. And here, because I'm in Tallahassee at FSU, this is like quote unquote the Bible Belt. So if you start driving, there's like churches on every other side of the road of all different types of denominations. And it's like there's this one that we found the other day, and it looks like Hogwarts. Like it's huge. And I'm like, this church has money.
I think there's one in Maryland or in Baltimore that is huge. It is huge.
Oh my goodness. Does your church, so we're talking about money, right? Does your church also try to guilt trip you guys into serving the church?
Like helping them?
Yeah, like being a volunteer, or like becoming, like we were talking about the altar boys and girls.
No. You can volunteer if you want to. You can do that.
Okay.
And you can be an altar boy, but me personally, I didn't want to do that. I was offered to help the church, and I was like, yeah, no, sorry.
Okay, so they didn't use any guilt, like tripping tactics. Okay, that's big in the Christian church, or at least the church that I went to. They would try and guilt trip you every 5 seconds, and like, yeah, and even though we were volunteers, they would treat us like they were paying us, which they were not. Like they would be mad if we just like didn't come one Sunday. Like it was a mess.
Well, I don't know about the other Catholic church if they guilt you, but in my church, you don't have to do what you don't want to do.
Okay, all right. Well, that's nice.
Well, except for the money thing, but other than that, then yeah.
Exactly. You win some, you lose some. Okay, so now let's get into clothes. The dress code of church. Or life, really.
Period.
For my church, so there are some Baptist churches that are like super high up there, like uppity, hosh posh, whatever. People coming in, they're like Sunday best, right? And that's like the dress code. But my old one, like the one that I went to when I was like grown, it was chill. Like you could wear jeans, there wasn't really like a dress code. But was I shamed for wearing shorter shorts or more revealing top? 110%.
I bet.
So how was it over there at the Catholic church?
I went over this with my neighbor because she's also Catholic, but she said that some Catholics don't have dress code, but how I grew up with my family, you weren't allowed to wear strap shirts, spaghetti straps. You weren't allowed to show your shoulders. You can't wear a dress that shows too much leg. And my parents are heavy on no holes in their jeans. And yes, girl, and you can't wear leggings. My parents won't let you wear leggings. Yes.
Are you kidding me?
Yes, girl. And you can't wear. My cousin was here from New York, and she wore a long dress, but with slippers, like the open toe slippers.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to church, and the lady, when she was getting the body and blood, the lady, there's like the person who does it, and then another person who just watches you, because there's some people who take the body but then just have it in their hands and don't eat it. Right? So then the lady was there, and then she pulled my cousin to the side and said that she can't wear open-toed slippers. Yeah, it's a sin. Yeah.
Yes. No, she didn't. Oh my
So you're
God.
supposed to wear closed shoes. You can wear heels, but you can't wear too high of a heel.
So it sounds like a lot of this is targeted towards women.
Yeah. Because there's some men that wear the whole suit, tie, the jacket and all that. There's some with jeans and shirt. And then there's some with like a regular Jesus sandals and stuff. But that's what I know.
So it seems like their favorite line is like, "You can't do this because it's a sin," when it literally isn't. Like, that's a lie. She just lied.
I've never heard you
and lying
having a sin for wearing open toe shoes.
Yeah, like
that man wore open toe shoes. That's why the shoes are named after.
Yeah, like right? Like it was hot. It was hot where he was. That is ridiculous.
That's founding.
Oh my goodness.
I thought when she pulled her aside, I thought it was because she ate the bread wrong or she did something wrong, but her sandals.
Yeah. Oh my God. See, if I was your cousin, I'd be like, I'm never coming.
I mean, she lives in New York, so she's good.
Oh, true. Wow, that is crazy.
So my mom, because I said that what I just said for the dress code, I can't wear all that. So my mom wears long dresses.
Mm-hmm.
My dad wears like a suit, sometimes a shirt, a t-shirt, and then we have to like dress like it's like you're going. Some people say that it's like you have to dress as you're going to meet God. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, 100%.
That's a lot of pressure.
Because what if I want to meet God in my pajamas?
Right? Like I feel like God would be cool like
Homie
that.
Just wears a robe.
Because yes, and like he didn't care. Like he would like help the poor who didn't have anything. He wasn't only talking to the elites.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Look at us catching them in their lies.
Again, Mom, if you're listening to this, don't.
Yeah, don't
take my phone away.
Get Michelle in trouble.
Because I need it.
Yeah. If you don't respond to me, I'll know why.
Girl, if you don't see me on Instagram, you'll know why.
Yeah. I'll have to like call and be like, hey, is she alive? Is she okay? Oh my goodness. She might send you to like confessional and everything. All right, let's stop.
So now that you're brought in confessionals, do you guys do baptism, confessionals, first communion?
Yes. So we do the baptisms. We do we do first communion? I think some Baptist churches do, because I had one. Like I had a little dress, like a little white dress. I did that whole thing. But we are not baptized as babies. We are supposed to, in the church, make the choice. Yes. So, which is kind of controversial because people believe that you're not going to go to heaven if you're not baptized.
People believe that? Oh.
Yeah. Or that they believe that your soul is not saved.
Baptize.
Like
what?
Mm-hmm. Like you haven't given your life to Christ. Yeah.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah. And so, like, my boyfriend's not baptized. So I was baptized as a kid, right? And he wasn't. And I told my mom, because she had asked me, she's like, is he baptized? And I was like, no. And she's like, she's religious. So she's like freaking out. And I was like, Mom, I'll go baptize him in the bathtub right now. I was like, or you could do it in the pool. She's the most religious woman I know. She could do it.
Did she say that when she met your boyfriend, or?
No, she said it like, because we've been together for 5 years, but I think it was like when we were maybe at like 2 years or something. She was like, is he baptized? The mom's like checking off the list. Is he Christian? Is he baptized? Blah, blah, because geez. And he was like, no, I'm not baptized. And he wasn't even as religious as like our family was. And that freaked my mom out too, of course, because they're always like, you have to be of the same religion or whatever. But yeah. It's bringing back a lot of trauma. Yes. But this is healing. That's why I love doing it. And I love calling people out on their BS. Because
we need to have a show
it
about
needs to happen. Yes. And that's what I was telling my sister today. I was like, I often hear that people experience like trauma from the church, or like there was a lot of things growing up that just really hurt them from the church, but I just never really heard people sitting down and having conversations about the pain that it put them through, because I think a lot of people, like, they realize that it was painful and then they just stop going and they just move on with their lives, like there's never really a conversation about it, which I think is an important part of the healing process, but also could spread some information about there to people that are still in these institutions 100%. Like causing harm. Okay, so this next point, for those of you that don't know, we have a little Google Doc
because we don't know how to memorize that.
So no, absolutely not. So what is this one? It's
on show? Netflix. I think it was in 2018 or 17. Netflix came out with a show. Well, I don't think Netflix did, but there was a show called The Keepers. And the show is based in Baltimore. And the show is about a nun that was murdered. Her name was Catherine Catherine something. And and the way that it's like a regular, like, if you watch a crime show, it's just she got murdered. But this one was so heavy on the church, because the way that she got murdered, because she was gonna rat out the church, the school of the church, that the priest,
oh my God,
was sexually abusing the girls in that church, in the school.
Oh my God. Was this based on a true story?
They had two former students. Her name was Gemma and Abby, that did research like 10 years after her death, and they wanted to know why she died, because no one knew why she died. They just knew that she was murdered.
And like that's just an example of, like, that is just one example of many examples that the church can use religion as a weapon against people. And it's done on like big levels and it's done on little levels, but this especially is a problem within. And why is it the Catholic Church that it's a problem? Like, do you have an idea? Obviously, like, it happens probably everywhere in every church, but why do you think in the Catholic Church it's like more known?
Honestly, I don't know, but I think it's because Catholics, I really don't know. I don't want to put my opinion out there, because then I'm gonna get harassed. Okay. But I don't know.
No, that is totally okay. Totally okay. But I mean, that's an important conversation to have, especially for parents, like not leaving their kids alone, in those places, and just being aware of that. And also these people being
100%
held responsible for their actions. Because it's
like the Catholic people, the mothers included, they think that the priest should be trusted. So they leave their kids with them, because it's like a second father. Right? So you wouldn't think that behind closed doors, your daughter or your son is getting molested by someone that you known for so long and trusted to do all that.
Yeah. And then he's like using religion to threaten the kids, which is terrifying. Like that guilt and that shame is already so big, but then adding like the whole you're gonna go to hell
Jane
thing
Doe
on
kept that
it's
into her because
terrible.
She kept it the secret so long, for 10 years. From when it happened to 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
She kept it in so long because the priest and the guy, Magnus, threatened her. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they literally brought her to
kill her, right?
her dead body, and told her, this is gonna be you if you tell.
Mm-hmm. Jeez. Which is so insane because, you know, you have people at the Catholic Church like saying you're gonna go to hell for closed-toed shoes, but these guys are molesting and raping children and killing people, and you know that's no near a sin in their eyes. Like,
and the thing that really
so frustrating
got me so mad was the priest been doing it before he went to Baltimore and he got caught by Catherine. He was doing it wherever he was coming from.
And maybe even too, like maybe because this is known within the Catholic Church, like maybe child predators maybe will just become ahead in the Catholic Church to do this, you know? Wow. So if anybody is interested in watching, it's called The Keeper, right? And it's on Netflix, which really I might watch it. Heavy. Or maybe not, because it's heavy. It's really heavy. Yeah. All right, Michelle. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. And everybody stay tuned for our next